here.
So let's talk about Fat Joe and his revisionist history of the origins of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
If you all are not familiar, Fat Joe did an interview on the Math Hoffa
Math Hopper.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Fat Joe was calling the FBA or 88s a radical racist. His people have a big issue with his use of the N word, and then there's other things that going on because I remember. I can't pinpoint it, but I do remember people talking about Fat Joe being problematic before. And what I remember, it was something to the extent that he was talking about black folks, but then he started talking about black women in particular and started calling them racial slurs. But again, he was around a set of black men while he did it. And I remember there was some greasy stuff going on back there. What do you think about this situation?
Man, I love me some Fat Joe too. Fat Joe, one of my favorite rappers. Actually one of my favorite people. I like when he on the right side and he doing stuff. Fat Joe is, you know what I'm saying? He entertaining, but this is nuts. I don't know why he's stuck on this Latinos and blacks when it comes to who created hip hop. Like, why are you trying to make that an issue? Why is that? Because I think Tariq Nasheed came out with a documentary about hip hop, and you know what I'm saying, who, yes, were Puerto Ricans there? Yes, yeah, y'all would, you know what I'm saying? This, but that don't mean that y'all created hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not on one side or the other, but I just think this is a dumb hill to die on. And now it's then caused all this crazy stuff. People was already mad at you for using the N-word. I'm more, I don't want to sound like I'm a little bit better than people, but I'm a little bit more traveled than a lot of Black Americans, especially Black Americans in the South. In the South, that word is
not gonna fly.
Right, it ain't gonna fly. You go to New York, they say Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, they say nigga. They say it. You go up to North Cali and them Asians, they say nigga. And they probably say it better than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they say it. I had a discussion about this years ago about the word nigga and intention. Are we mad at the word? Because we use it all the time. And I hate to turn it into this. We use the word all the time. That's my nigga, my nigga, my nigga. Hey, nigga, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I say, is nigga, if we're looking at nigga as a bad word, is it bad like motherfucker bad? You know, because motherfucker is a bad word. I don't want to, depending on how you call me a motherfucker, I get mad. You know what I'm saying? Is it that? What is the intention behind this word? Because do you think Fat Joe is being racist when he used the word nigga? Or do you think anybody, you know what I'm saying, like who grew up because now we talk culture. And this is what I said, we're talking culture now. Who's in the hip hop culture? Yes, hip hop is a predominantly Black culture, but involved in that culture is a whole bunch of subsets. Correct. A whole bunch of smaller subcultures going on. Who's involved in the culture? Puerto Ricans?
Well, I would put it to you like this, you know, even when you're talking about hip hop as a culture, within that culture, you, like you said, you have if you're coming out of New York, you know, there are the Puerto Ricans, there are the Dominicans, there's a whole lot of things.
Cubans.
But what I would say about that is this. In that hip hop culture, would it be okay for foundational Black Americans, ADOS, to be able to call ourselves the racial slurs that they call each other? Because I don't hear that in hip hop.
What you mean?
So in other words, we know that the NIGGA is a offset of NIGGER, which was a racial slur against us. So if there are racial slurs that have been used against the Dominican people, if there are racial slurs,
like spit or
something like whatever that is. I mean, is that okay? Can we then flip the thing and be able to say those racial slurs? Because that's what I'm not seeing. Because it would be different if there was a balance of, I'm going to use your racial slur, you're going to use my racial slur, we're using these racial slurs in there, but there is no balance in that, and this is just me thinking.
No, I feel that. That's a good question, real valid. Now that you explain, I had a homeboy who I was in boot camp with. I'm still friends with him today, Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? And he called himself the Spick Papa because Spick is a slur for Puerto Rican. He called himself the Spit Pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if it became normalized, right? Like I said, words about, to me, and I dabble in words. I love words, etymology, things like that. It's all about intent with words, with certain words, you know? And I'm not saying that you can't say, hey, Fat Joe, you can't say that around me. I'm not saying that, or that Fat Joe should even be saying that. That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when do we collect it? Are we going to collectively stop using it? Or are we going to collectively say, you know what? We've changed this word around to mean this, but only we can say, you know what I'm saying? It's weird. I understand it because I am of the culture and I am Black, but it's weird when you start breaking it down into black and white. That's all I'm saying.
I would say this, and this is what I would say in regards, because I'm from the South, born, I was born out in California, but pretty much raised here in the South. That couldn't fly with me.
It could.
It couldn't fly with me.
Yeah,
but I would just say that as a hip hop collective, there should be, just like there is an absolute, and I'll talk about it later because we're gonna go over, because we're almost through, about hip hop is a young man's game. There should be an absolute that if you can't trace your folks back on this content, here, and you're melanated and you look like me, then I think the NIGGER and the NIGGIA, I'm saying NIGGA should be off limits to you.
Okay.
Use the racial slur that your people use against each other.
I don't have no issue with somebody making that statement. I totally, like, I don't have an issue with that. Like I said, my big thing is just intent. Just intent. Are we mad at Fat Joe for you? Because he's been using it.
He's been using it forever, from what I understand.
Forever, right?
I don't follow Fat Joe like that, so I don't know. I remember Big Pun. I don't remember Fat Joe until after Big Pun.
And I'm glad you brought up Big Pun. It's a video going out this with with Big Pun saying about, hey, I'm so grateful to be allowed in this culture. I want to thank Black people for embracing me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That right there should let you know what's up.
Yeah. So this is what I'm going to say really quickly about Fat Joe and why you're seeing him talk the way he talks. Because the one thing that I have noticed, that there are people who come into the culture, they grift off the culture. And I think at this point in time, in my opinion, Fat Joe is grifting off the culture. And he is wanting to make it, because there is somebody that's about to Puff Daddy him with some money and put in some opportunities or something. That's the way I'm feeling. Because,
so you think he got bought out?
I'm thinking that he's on that trajectory, because I'm seeing here that Fat Joe is hosting ABC New Year's Rick and Eve show.
Oh,
and I'm seeing that this is what Star Child has put in the comments.
And you make a good point, real poignant. And I hate if that's the case, I hate to see that, because knowing the story of Fat Joe and where he came from and the things that he did to get where he's at, to be bought out like that and to turn his back on the culture, because if he's grifting off of the culture, to me, you turn your back off to the culture. That's real. That's more, to me, that's more egregious than saying nigga.
Yeah. And see that this is why the wording that he used, in my opinion, when he said that, what did he say? He said that the FBA was
he said with some radical racist, radical racist broke ass niggas is what he called.
And then you think about these talking points, because and then when he was talking,
it sounded real Trumpian, didn't it? Sound real Trumpian.
It did, exactly.
Yeah,
and it sounded, and it also said, it was those types of talking points. And then he was establishing, because again, history is told by the conquerors. If you get through here and these people can give you a certain amount of money, you can go around and say, well, it was the Puerto Ricans who did this. And then before you know it, it's going to be the Puerto Ricans. And then we didn't have anything to do with it. And I hope everybody is seeing this if you're watching this video, because this is how with Drake, you saw it happening. With Kendrick, kind of put a pin into it. This is how we lost jazz music. This is how We have recently lost our hold on R&B and soul
R&B.
music. When you eat, this is how we back in the day lost hold of they call it yacht rock, but it's really like soft, rock and roll, like Chuck Berry and all of them.
Yeah.
We lost control over that, which I believe turned into pop music. And this is how we lost control over country music, gospel.
Yeah.
I mean, not gospel music, but country music.
Gospel will be there soon.
It'll be there soon. It is because first they'll ridicule you with it. Because if you all not familiar, back in the late 70s, early 80s, they talked about how they ridiculed it. They talked about how people coming out of that genre was talking a certain different way. They were talking about violence, which was no violence, not until NWA and all of them came in, because hip hop was party music back in the day. Once you see that, and then
jungle music.
Yes, and then when you start seeing an influx of different ethnic groups coming in.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, and then you'll have some of these white creators coming in trying to explain. They're trying to what we ladies call mansplain hip hop to folks who started it.
See, I'm all about gatekeeping. I'm a big gatekeeper. And a lot of people hate, oh, you want to gatekeep this? Yes. I want to keep it as pure as possible. Not saying you can't come in and enjoy it, but you're going to get vetted. And then when you make it past me, you're going to get vetted by this person. And when you get past that person, you're going to get vetted again. Like, no, gatekeep. If it's something that you like, if it's something that you love, yes, share it with the world. And when they come in and they want to do what you do, you gatekeep that. You close that door. You lock it tight. Yes, no more cookout invitation. Lock it tight. Lock it. What my man said, the enemy's at the gates. What? Put the locks on the doors, and he started chaining up the door. That's right. What you got to do. You got to gatekeep it.
Because when you gatekeep it, you then control the narrative of it.
Yeah.